time for some real education. King Lear, I consider it Shakespeare's greatest play. If you have never read it, it is a force. I mean, it is... I mentioned it yesterday. It's life at the bone, right? Cuts right to the core of a lot of major issues in human behavior, human psychology, theology, and spirituality. And it's also one of the great theodicies. A theodicy is a work of literature, or any work of art, actually, that seeks to explain the role of suffering in human affairs. That's a theodicy. A theodicy. And I think outside of the book of Job, this may be the single greatest work of art to encapsulate what role suffering can play to a beneficial end in human life. And so take a look at our quote from today. This is 1616 King Lear. This is the Earl of Gloucester, who, by standing up for King Lear and defying his two evil daughters, Lear's evil daughters, remaining a friend of King Lear, they actually, these two daughters, their husbands, remove Gloucester's eyes. They actually rip his eyeballs out, and they turn him loose, wandering in a dark, dark storm. And so there's Gloucester with what's left of his eyes running down his face, simply all for the simple fact that he defended King Lear from their harshness. And he talks about how this suffering that's come upon him, this terrible, terrible affliction, it actually, ironically, has opened his eyes to what human nature is. By losing his eyes, it took losing his actual eyes to quote unquote see what the world really is. And he says, when he's confronted by one of the better characters who's trying to help him, you have no eyes, he says to him, let me show you the way. Gloucester responds, I have no way, and therefore need no eyes. I stumbled when I saw. Full oft 'tis seen that our means secure us, and our mere defects prove our commodities. This is a powerful, pithy statement of some deep philosophy. Like Christ said, right? Woe unto you who have eyes and do not see. Woe unto you, Jesus said, right? You've been given eyesight. You've been given sight and vision to steer away from evil and to choose the good. Go back to the quote. Just like a sinner in the time of Christ, he says, I have no way and therefore need no eyes. I stumbled when I saw. Remember when Jesus said, if it is your eye that bothers you, if you can't stop looking at bad things, pluck your eye out and throw it into the fire. Better to go into heaven with no eyes than to go into hell with both of your eyes, right? But then he says something powerful. It often is true, he says, full oft we see it, that the more comfortable we are, the more our means secure us, and our mere defects become our really values. In a world where there's a lot of material comfort, where we don't suffer much, we get lost. And oftentimes, it's that which breaks us of our complacent comforts, that which makes us hurt and feel and suffer, that saves our lives because it pulls us back to things much more significant.